Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to this concluding session of our 1 week long online FTP on AI tools for research, enhancing innovation and productivity. I welcome back all of you for one final time in this FTP. We are going to take a look at a few more tools for the discussion in the context of writing, and we're also going to take one look at one other platform which is having a slightly different use case when it comes to research. So without further ado, let's get started. I will just share my screen and we can begin with the discussion for today. All right. I think my screen would be visible to all, and we are just going to open up a new tab so that I can show the first platform. Now, our first platform for today is the last tool in the category of writing. Yesterday, we have seen platforms like Writeful and the other areas whereby by the means of which we talked about the comparison of Writeful versus Jenny and other AI tools, which I think prompted a very productive discussion on how these tools and the presence of them can also sometimes leads to false results in terms of AI detection. So our next tool is in that category only, and this is the platform. It is called as Kahubi, and its original name was Kahubi. Now it was a startup some time back, and now it has been taken over and sort of acquired by another firm called AvidNote, and it's called Kahubi AvidNote now. And it is a very powerful platform. We are again going to be looking at the free version of this platform only, and we will see that how the next era of writing seems to be evolving with platforms like Kahubi. So with that, let's get started. I'm going to paste the link of Kahubi in the chat box, and hopefully whosoever is trying out simultaneously can also try the same. So this is the homepage for Kahubi. We have to register on the portal before we can use it, and we can register by putting this basic information, of post which it will send out an email for confirmation and registration purposes, which we can of course confirm, and then we would be able to access the portal. Once we log in into the portal, we are brought to this part. Actually, this is the home screen which you would be brought to, where there are two things, or there are two different sections that we get. One is work with documents, wherein we would be able to upload papers and interact with it and get information from there. But since we have already seen Notebook LM and what it can do, I am going to keep that part aside. We can explore it later on, because with Kahubi, we get very specific number of times we can use the portal on the free version. So before going any further, it is a good idea to click on this part and see all our usage options that are available to us, which we would be able to see inside this settings tab. And once we have done that, we can come to this part on the right, which is called as AI Research Toolbox. Now, what we do is we click on this button. That's when it opens the next screen that we have seen. So this is what I mean by limited functionality with the free version. And with the free version, we are able to use up to 5,000 words. It resets after a few days. I am not exactly sure. I'm not able to recall how many days it is. I think it's 15 or 20. And we can use the platform for 120 minutes in one go. And here we are able to do multiple things, right from research to transcription to coding in AI chat. And what we do is we click on research now. That's when it brings us to this final option. In case anybody has missed it, I'll show it again. When we open Kahubi for the first time, we would be on the home page. We have to click on AI Research Toolbox button, post which we would be brought to this next screen where we have to choose which area we want to work in. can click on research, and that brings us to this tab that I am currently on. Now here, as we can see that the templates are divided into 7 major categories, including the all template option, which shows all the options that we have here. But we are going to look at them one by one. We'll be able to use some of them, keeping in mind the 5,000 word limit that we have. Let's go to the first one, which is the general tab. Now, in the general tab, as the name suggests, we get some general questions that or some general templates that we can utilize, right? From translating a piece of text to asking some general questions, summarizing any meetings that we have on the basis of points, etc. Then comes education tab, where it helps us with academics slightly little bit. Their main focus has always been on research part. So we get 4 major options here, which is plan a lesson, grading of students, solving a problem by putting the question on the tab, and designing any examination or assessment that we want to do. We can try this out depending on if we require this, but there are much better tools which can solve this problem, including the chatbots that we use. We come to the data part. Now, this is where the main options are available. As we can see, it gives us multiple range of options, right from suggest interview questions for a semi-structured interview study to suggest survey questions, analysis of data, interviews, coding of interview transcript, analysis of data with framework, narrative analysis of an interview transcript, extracting data from a paper, and sentiment analysis in case we want to do that. With publish, and this is where I will show some examples, we get these options. The first one is a research proposal, where and no matter out of all of these templates or all of these sections, whichever one we click on, the basic method of using the same, using all of them is the same. The templates are pre-configured. We just have to input some basic information, and on the basis of that, it will give us the output. So let's click on research proposal. And every time we click on something, this is what it will open for us. And we have to keep an eye on this, which is the balance. In case we run out of this, then we have to either wait for it to reset, or we have to use another account to log in into the portal. We can decide the the input language in which we want to give the input from. We have a lot of languages here. And then this is the main part where we have to describe the study or the topic. So I'm going to say, we'll go with the same topic or the same example that we have been looking at over the past few days. And then we have to set the level of creativity. Let's keep it low so that we get some ideal write-ups, and number of results we can get, number of drafts, that is. As you notice that the default result length, that is number of characters, was 1500. I have reduced it to 300 because whatever we put here, a general amount of this would be subtracted from the balance of the words that we have here. So then all we need to do is click on generate text. We wait for a few seconds, and on this side, our output will start to come in. The main feature or the main strength of this tool is its ability to give us a predetermined output or a predetermined template of or a predetermined format of the template that we select. So as we can see with this example, and it tries to follow the exact format of the option that we select. So as we can see now that since this is a research proposal that we have selected, it has given us a working title, an abstract, a short intro, background and context, the objectives of research, then some information on methodology and how to take it forward, expected outcomes of this study, significance and conclusion, and then some references that are compiled here. Now this part also can doubly function as a text editor also, where we can write our own words or where we can input our own information, and the formatting of the same can be done from this part on the top. Now, Out of this, then once we have our output ready, we'll come back to that. We notice that as soon as we generated an output, a significant number of words have been deducted from our balance right here, right? And coming on the top, we have certain buttons here on the top. The first one is save document. And this button saves this output in the library of Kahobi inside the portal itself. So this is the first button right here. Then the second one allows us to copy the text manually. As we can see, result has been copied successfully. Now I can take this, I can go to a blank editor that I'm using, and I can copy paste it. And this is what we get in the output format. Then we also get these three options. The first one allows us to download it as a notepad file or a word edited file where we can see the same output, but again, this time in a notepad section. Then we also get a PDF button where PDF versions can be seen. This is the PDF. Out of all of them, the PDF version is the one that is least editable and it is the most unorganized. Also, the best one, however, is this one, which is the last option, which allows us to download it as a Word file. And this is the Word file right here. And we can notice the difference between when we copy paste it manually versus when we download a file directly from there. So this is what the buttons on the top do here. And these options remain the same no matter whichever template we select. Let's go back. In this manner, we have planned my study, and each of the templates usage is also given here. Further research, AI generates suggestions for further direction of research. Let's look at this one. Now, each time, whenever we select an output, the description part of the input box changes. So, for example, for the research proposal, it just asked for a topic. Here, it is asking us to put in a specific amount of information, which allows us to give the portal or the platform enough information so that it can suggest future directions for research. Let me reduce the number of words significantly. I'll keep it low again. I'll just simply say, instead of giving the entire page, we'll just give it the same topic again. And we'll click on generate text. Again, the same process will follow, wherein it will take a few seconds. And on the basis of just even a topic also, it allows us to have this detailed list of further topics to look into. So it's very good in that way with ideating purposes and how it allows us to get a general direction of thought when it comes to writing. Not only that, we have this another very interesting template here, which is called suggest a journal. Now, this is also very interesting. I'll again reduce this to 100. Same output. But this time we notice that there are two different kinds of input questions that we have to answer instead of a single one, which is that not only we have to describe our study. So here we can input a lot of different items. We can input our abstract, keywords, a basic write-up about what the study is going to be about, etc. So let's see what it comes out with. I click on generate text and let's see if it suggests any journal. I have not written the study deliberately, and this is the output that it gives. We have kept this field blank because when we write this, the result, of course, then becomes much more specific. Now we have to check whether these journals actually exist or not. Since I have just written the topic, there is a high possibility that the names of the journals are not always going to be there. Okay, this seems that this is actually a true journal. Let's try to check a few of them. And it also gives us the thrust area of the journal along with it, apart from giving us the name. Okay, this also seems to be a working journal apparently. All right. So far, two of the results are true. They are not false results that it has worked out. This one doesn't seem to be there. Okay, we have something. Now, of course, then we have to go further into the details and check whether the actual journal is authentic or not. But it does seem to be returning some result as far as the nomenclature and the names of the suggested journals are concerned. So this also seems to be a journal apparently. Yeah, this is published by Springer. So in this way, we get a very detailed list, and they're divided usually in two ways: relevant high impact journals and quick response time and high impact journals. Let's see if this one exists or not. Okay, this also seems to be there. Digital culture and society. And in this manner, we get a very detailed list that we can work with. So the platform, therefore, thereby allows us to have these limited number of functionalities because of the kind of results that it generates for us. So this is the second template. Let's go back. We'll try a few bit more. Now, on the just like that, we have a title suggester. This one we have to use a little bit with caution, because as we have been talking about and debating whether original idea should be given to AI platforms or not. In theory, this particular template would rework and reframe or revise our text for journal submission to a format where it becomes submission ready. So this is something which we have to be very careful about, wherein we are not giving out our original content or our original ideas to the platform itself. Okay, this is the published part. Now let's go to read. With read, we get some very interesting options where it can proofread and suggest some improvements in the text. But of course, we can do the same thing with other tools like Grammarly and with Writeful, as we have seen yesterday. Even ChatGPT shows us this. I don't know if how many of us have tried this, but ChatGPT now has the ability to give feedback on what we write, not by giving a prompt, but in real time. I think maybe if time permits, I'll show that also. So, and this one is out of all of them, I found this one to be very interesting. It's called Critique This, where AI can give a academic critique of our text. So maybe we can try something. Okay, this one should be fine. I'm going to reduce the word limit again. Let's see what it does. So as we can see, it has started to give us an overview and of the analysis of the writing itself. So there we go, the output is ready. We first have an overview section. Then we have the strengths of the write-up, the weaknesses of the write-up, and the conclusion. And what I really like about Kahubi is this part. With each output, at the end of the output in the template, it always gives us this disclaimer or this short note where it directly or indirectly tells the user to review the output that it gives to us, and always sort of nudging us in the direction of being aware about the fact that this is an AI generated template and it is prone to mistakes, it is prone to errors. So we always have to double check and cross verify the authenticity and the truth value of whatever we want to use somewhere. I mean, of course, rewriting it manually always is the better option. Then we come to the write section. Now, write has most number of options. We right away notice some of the most important sections that we normally would have whenever we write something, right from writing a literature review to a specific academic text to writing a abstract, a conclusion separately, a method, etc. Let's try a few of them. We'll start with abstract first. Same topic. Click on generate text. And this is the abstract right here. We notice that our word balance has now dropped from 5,000 to 2,374 words. And if I would have written with keywords, it would have given me the keywords also. So this is something to take a note of. Let's go back. We will try something more. Right, let's say maybe write an introduction. And with each output, or rather with each input, we also get some hints as to what kind of input prompt do we write, which makes it very useful in terms of using the tool, especially if you are using it for the first time. Right now, for the sake of the demo, I am putting in just topics, but whenever we are working with any of these templates, of course, our input would also be larger in size. So depending on that hint that it is giving to us, it becomes very useful as a user to get the necessary desired output that we are looking for. Right. So this is the introduction. Pretty detailed, as we can see. And in this manner, we can get an introduction also. Right. Let's go back. Then we have conclusion. Then we have rewrite, and this is the write anything. Now with this one, we can get an entire output actually. Draft of a book chapter on the topic of same topic, role of technology in digital humanity with APA references. Keep it to 200. We are almost down to 1,330 words. I think with this detailed output, we might actually go quite below the word limit that is available to us. So this is our output. We have a whole basic draft, very basic in fact, with some references here. And as I have shown earlier, we can simply export this in the form of a document, and this becomes ready to go right here. So how much is the word balance that we have left? Let's see. 561 only. We can try maybe one more input. Let's see what else we have. So in this way, we have other options here. And then with method, we have some very important options, especially when it comes to writing for specific areas where we have to use theoretical frameworks or identify specific methods or research gaps. So for example, this one allows the user to suggest a theoretical framework for the topic. Let's put in the same topic. And we'll select again 100. Let's click on generate text and let's see what we get. These are some of the theoretical frameworks I can use in case I'm working on this topic. Something called as actor network theory, constructivism, media ecology, post-humanism, critical theory, cultural studies, digital rhetoric, socio-technical systems theory, etc. And the output also has description and application, and we're down to the zero balance. So this is how Kahoot! Works. It's very powerful in terms of at least what it lets the user start out with. Do we have any questions on Kahoot! Before I go ahead with the next platform? If there are any questions, please feel free to unmute and let me know at this point of time. Otherwise, I'll go ahead. I've already pasted the link of Kahoot! In the chat box in case anybody wishes to try it out. Okay. I don't think we have any questions on this. So let's move ahead with the next tool for today. And then if time permits, we will take a look at something a bit more. Now, my last platform is designed to address the last bit, which is, let's say when we have a manuscript ready with us, and if we are moving in a direction where automation is also entering into the area of peer feedback and feedback in general on anything that we are writing. So my next platform is designed to do that, and the platform is called Thesify. This is the platform right here. This is the homepage of the platform. Again, this platform is something which has both a free version and a paid version also. So I'm going to paste the link of Theosify in the chat box. The link has been pasted for both of them. I'm going to pin both the chats. The first one is Kahubi. The second one is Theosify.ai. And this is the homepage of Theosify where we can access the portal by clicking on Get Started for free or clicking on Sign Up alternatively. And once we click on it, it will bring us to this section where we can either enter our email account and get an access to it, or we can click on Continue with Google, and whereby it would allow us to then go forward from there. So Theosify is something again which falls in the spectrum of more of higher end tools in terms of its premium plan. It allows us to have some functionalities with the free version, wherein what we get is basically this one single screen, which they call as pre-submission assessment. And in theory, what this tool is designed to do is it is designed to give us a pre-submission assessment of the entire piece of writing that we have. And it gives us insights according to each of the sections that we have inside an output. And it also gives us suggestions for improvement as well. So let's try it out. We will get an output from ChatGPT only. So we are just doing this again as the part of a demo. And in fact, this is a good idea because as I've asked for a draft, it is just giving me points mostly. So Theosify, if what it does is it points out the weaknesses in the manuscript that we have. Let me just download this. So we should be getting a download file right away. All right. So this is the file that we've downloaded. And Theosify allows us to upload either PDF and Word files both, the maximum file size of which can be 10 MB. This is the chapter. Now it will take a few seconds and it will ask me these questions. Am I the author? Yes, no, let's say no. Select the type of document. I'll say essay. Click on next. Please provide me with some information about this work and enter the instructions for essay or assignment received. I don't want to enter anything here. Let's just say I am going to give it the broader area of study, which is arts and humanities. Do we have literature here? We check. No. Okay, we also have literary theory. I think that is better. Click on next. And now it will read through the document. There seems to be some error. Just a second. Let's see what it does now. Yeah, I think the feedback is ready. Oh, have I exhausted all my free plan? Maybe I think I have. Just give me a second, please. I'll try entering through another portal. Or maybe if they have made it paid, then I don't think it will work. In that case, we'll move to another tool. Yeah, no, this one has some coins here. So it works on a coin system. In the other account, I think I've exhausted those coins. No essay. Next. Let's just say 600. Writing a book chapter on digital humanities and its introduction. Come next. Hopefully, we get some feedback now. Yeah, there we go. This is the draft of our chapter. And here's where all the feedback will come in. It will take a few seconds for it to go through the document and then give us the output that we are looking for. As we can see, some sections have started to come out. The ones that are ready will have this marker in front of them, which is color coded and which shows which can show three colors. Red means it completely needs to be changed. Orange is there is some scope of a little bit of change it needs to do. And green means excellent. So I think there are three of them are ready. Let's see. Purpose. The purpose section apparently needs some improvement. And it actually tags or gives the section from where it is giving this output and says or leaves a comment below that the essay effectively explains digital humanities by defining it and raises significant questions related to its purpose. In this manner, we get an entire description like this. And at the end of the write-up, it gives it a neat score also out of the total of 18 or 20, I think, whereby we get a complete idea of what the write-up is and what it can do. But again, by using this platform, we're back to the same debate, or we're back on the same question as to whether if we upload our information here, how secure it is. I would still recommend even with this platform to at least give it some basic info if you're giving it and not the complete original ideas. And there's an export button here, which I've just clicked on. What it does is it allows us to download a file like this, which is basically a complete review file in the form of a PDF as well, which has all the sections of our write-up and all the feedback is collated here according to different sections, with the final score on the bottom. And based on that, it also has some suggested topics. And then in case we have more coins with us, in this case, I do have, for example, we can actually chat with the document as well, whereby this bot, which they're calling is Theo, generates questions on its own. It answers the questions by going through the chapter's outline, as we can see. This is in the suggested topic section. Then we get the further feedback for the other sections also. So this is what the entire report does. And on this part, I can re-download my uploaded file, both either as a PDF file and a doc file also, which is basically the same input that I have given, which is our chapter itself. So this is the tool, next tool in a nutshell, which is called Thesify. We can try it out and we can see what kind of output we are getting. Again, at least it will give us some general direction to work into. And if you want to regenerate it, we can click on refresh. It will regenerate the output, give it a deeper analysis again, or a second analysis a second time, and then will give us some idea to work with. So this is the second platform for today. It is called Thesify. And before I end, whenever I do this workshop, I always end up showing this platform, which is something that I'm really excited about. They have been developing this for a long time. I hope they launch it soon. This is a very interesting project that's happening out of Japan. I'm sure some of us may have heard of it. The last update they posted was in 2024. After this, there is no update. So let me I have also pasted a link for this article. This platform is called Sakana. And if we read through this entire blog, what we notice is they're trying to build a language model which can essentially automate the entire process of writing. And they tried that actually. And this document that we see here is a full output, or it's basically a full detailed paper which they managed to get this LLM to write. So this paper that we see, in case we read it, there's a watermark here on the in the background which says very clearly that this was generated by this AI scientist. They're calling it AI scientist. Very interesting name, but it's basically written by this bot. Right from analysis to identification of the research problem to giving the conclusion, etc. I found it very interesting to read. We can actually go through it and see, I mean, what kind of. They have launched a second version of this for anybody who wants to try it out. And if any of us who are familiar with GitHub and how to use the GitHub code, there's a GitHub repository available for the same model, which is Sakana AI version 2 and version 1 also. In case if we want to run it locally on our devices, we can do that as well. So with that, we are exactly on time. I'm going to open up for some questions now. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me one final time. And whatever questions we have, we can take a quick time. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. In case we have any questions, feel free to unmute and you can ask the question, or you can post it in the chat box also. We have about 10 minutes for this. So thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, the session is now open for some questions.